Welcome to Tigers Untapped, a Bluff City Media podcast. Stepping up to the microphone are your hosts, TJ Willis and Trey Lasley. Pull up your chair, grab your favorite brew, and enjoy the conversation. Now, let's get to the show.
What up? TJ, Trey, back for another edition of Tigers Untapped. TJ, Christmas week. Merry Christmas, my man.
Merry Christmas, my dude.
Or Happy Hanukkah. I think Hanukkah started also, or right around the corner for, does Kwanzaa start the 26th too? Just the holiday season in the spirit. I will say though, I love the holidays. It's my favorite time of year. But we're at the point now where we play, this is coming out Wednesday. We play Alabama State tonight in basketball, and then we don't have another game until like the 29th.
29th, yeah.
I hate that. Such a long break. I guess it's good for the team, though.
Yeah, it's a little weird, but you got to think from like the family's perspective, you kind of want to be home to an extent. So
yeah, get the guys home, let them see the fam. Yeah. But hey, for me as a Tiger fan, I want to see as many games as possible. All right, first things first, before we dive into some basketball, what are we drinking tonight?
Tonight we have,
get the old top tap, make sure we don't explode everywhere.
This is Crosstown Animal Frequency, a hazy IPA, which I happen to be a big fan of hazy IPAs.
You're a big hazy guy, right?
I do love hazy.
Shout out to this can, digging the can.
There's a lot going on here for sure.
The folks out at Crosstown. I think we've talked about this. Crosstown, Wiseacre, like our top two.
Yeah. Cool little tap room and everything. Definitely try them out if you haven't been there.
All right. Well, we'll enjoy that. All right, TJ. Last time we talked, we had two big upcoming SEC battles. I think actually our last episode, it was recorded prior to the Bama game, but released afterwards. So technical difficulties there. But went 1-1. I think everybody talked about it heading into that kind of a stretch of, you had 4 SEC games with a kind of a little rock squeezed in there in the middle of them, but people were saying you go 2-2, you feel pretty good. Hey, 3-1 sitting here now, 3-1, I'll take it. Right. With a real chance. I mean, you had a real shot at Bama. I mean, stayed in the game the whole time, despite what I think we missed 11 bunnies in the first half. And then the dreaded 8% from 3. Right. You were 0 of 11 until
that's wild.
Keontae, his only 3-point attempt of the evening, literally the last shot of the game. You knock down another 3. You even missing 11 bunny. You make 3 or 4 more of those, and it could be a totally different game.
Isn't it crazy? It comes down to the easy things. And I think the Tigers actually shot relatively well from free throw, which is normally like, make your free throws, rebound. That's kind of like the easiest thing for them. You do those 2 things, the Tigers have a good chance to win. And not making your layups, come on, man. Like, it's almost that third thing in there.
Yeah, I mean, we were getting such good looks too, right?
Absolutely.
Like, it's just sometimes. I guess it's just sometimes it's not your night, right? So unfortunate there, but KD put the team on his back.
Go ahead.
I was just saying, KD put the team on his back, dropping 30 on them fools, 5 assists, 4 steals. KD had we'd kind of talked about it going into that game, him being in a little bit of a slump, if you will. And he came out of it. Out of it down there in Tuscaloosa.
Yeah, probably I don't want to say his best game. Definitely not his best game. But when you think about it, I mean, drop 30 points. I mean, how many games are you going to drop more than 30 points in a season?
Yeah. I mean, he was 50,
that's so hard
50% from the field, 11 of 22. Didn't make a 3, which I feel like, I don't know what's happened. I mean, he shot, 37% from 3 or right around there the last 2 years at SMU. And this year, I mean, it just feels like he's dropped off. He's making maybe 1 a game, sometimes 2, but 0 of 4 at Bama. Everybody was just struggling from beyond the arc at Bama. But I don't know, something's in the water down here that even Kendrick's kind of fallen off. So he's shooting 29%, I guess, from 3. And shot 30 37% his previous 2 years. This is by far his lowest percentage from three in college. He has not shot below 31% in college until this year.
And what's wild is I swear every time he played us, couldn't miss. Couldn't even convince him to miss a three. So it's just a little wild that he couldn't make one now. So
yeah. But nonetheless, a solid showing. I mean, it is frustrating in the sense that was a really big opportunity, right? We talked about it. They just come out of winning at number one Houston, kind of got them maybe in what could have been potentially. I mean, I don't look at us as a trap game, but tough little stretch there. They had at Houston, us at home, and then a neutral, if you will. I guess it was in Birmingham versus Gonzaga. So it would have been really nice to kind of get that, especially now as we sit here 3 weeks into December, and now you thought Auburn was one, but you still don't have a quad one win. So you're sitting at 0-1 in quad one. Hopefully you think Auburn gets in SEC, they start knocking some teams off. Obviously they probably will lose some games as well, but if they can steal a win against Bama and steal an Arkansas win, they may be able to jump back up in that top 50 and then you get a quad back there. But, outside of the remaining Houston games, I think at UCF is your only other opportunity for a quad one. So I know we keep talking about it, but they're important. And you had what you thought was one, and it's kind of already fallen out. So we'll kind of see how that goes. But that would have been a huge statement win, I think, for the Tigers, and would have been really big come March and seeding time to try to get on your resume. But not a game that they were projected or anybody really probably thought that they would win, but still one that you had an opportunity there at the end and could have stolen on the road for sure.
Yeah, absolutely brutal week, really, for the Tigers' schedule, the strength of schedule specifically. Like all your quality wins, what seemed to be decent quality wins, are just
all the SEC teams struggling today. A&M so we'll talk about A&M. A&M, great atmosphere Saturday night. Another what you felt like was a solid win. I mean, they were a preseason top 25, top 20 team. Won the NIT last year, brought a lot of that team back. Added Dennis Wichita State guard. A respectable ball club. They've just kind of struggled a little bit early. So even though you're playing them, they're not what, they didn't come in ranked like you thought maybe they would, but still figure it would be a decent win. And then they turn around today and lose to freaking Wofford. So
Wofford.
There goes that. But nonetheless, good to beat the Aggies at home. I mean, you got up 13 in the first half. Kind of let them come back there in the second, but you're also, we got into foul trouble, had some injuries. Keontae out, which was super strange. A severe concussion, I think, is what they were saying.
Yeah.
Which, number of people have gone back and looked at it. Nobody sees a play in the Bama game where it appeared that he got hit in the head. It supposedly didn't happen in a practice in between Tuesday and Saturday. So kind of a weird situation there. Obviously, Malco's still out with a severe sprain. I think Jaden tweaked something in his hip in the A&M game, so he was kind of sitting. Alex, I think, did something to his calf, they were saying, so he was kind of a little bit iffy. And then from a foul trouble perspective, you had three guys foul out, right? You had KO foul out, Damaria foul out, and then DeAndre, who we've talked about it, I feel like this whole first half of the year, but specifically kind of coming out of that Orlando tournament where he just took himself totally out of the Seton Hall game.
Yeah.
And then fouled out at Bama, right? He fouled out with 3.5 minutes left or something.
Yeah.
Talk about how important it is for him to stay on the floor. Literally the very next game he's able to play in, he sets an NCAA record and logged not 5, TJ, but count them, 6 personal fouls. I think the first time in history that has happened, thanks to him getting his 5th foul and then also a technical on the same play. So shout out DeAndre if you're listening. You're down in the history books for 6 personal fouls in a game and sport in which you were only allowed 5 fouls. So that's kind of impressive.
Talk about highs and lows for him, man. It just, if he could stay on the court, and then obviously some things have to click for him, but there's some times that he can be the guy for this team and everything can kind of run through him, even with Kendrick on the roster. And it's wild how you can rely on him so much and feed him and feed him and feed him. And then other games, you can't account to get 20 minutes from the guy. Like, he's constantly just, if it's a low hand on a back or something just so dumb. Yeah, the technical at the end of the game kind of, that's what I think of. It's just little stupid things.
I mean,
you've got to control yourself.
That could have been really bad.
Yeah.
I mean, I think we were up 6 at that point.
Yep.
You gave them 4 free throws, and I mean, luckily they weren't getting the ball because of the foul on the play, but it wasn't a dead ball technical, or it wasn't a live ball technical.
Yeah.
It was after the foul call, but yeah, that could have been awful.
Well, yeah, it was already putting the team in a terrible position.
So we got to figure out a way. Coach Hardaway said they talked to him. I think Kendrick's mentioned it, holding each other accountable. We got to figure out a way for I don't know if he needs to do some meditation, yoga, whatever he's got to do, calm himself down, because the man is wears his heart on his sleeve out there.
I'll tell you,
he's passionate.
One thing that I took away from the A&M game, and I think pretty much everyone is screaming at this point, is Johnathan Lawson, maybe that guy?
Which is, I was going to ask you about this. 3 for 3 from 3, 3 of 6 from the field.
3 from 3 from 3.
He is now 9 of 15 on the season from beyond the arc. Clearly, at this point in time, at least, our best shooter.
Mm-hmm.
So what? And it's, I mean, it's a team that needs that desperately. That is the one. If there is one fault to this team, it is shooting. So how do you? I mean, I feel like you gotta find a way. And I mean, he's totally bought in, right? Kudos to J Law.
Mm-hmm.
He talked about it post game. They asked him specifically about, like, you tweeted out it's a marathon, not a sprint. What did that mean? And he was just saying, I've heard the noise. I've heard people talking about, why isn't coach playing him? Why isn't he able to do this? Blah, blah, blah. And he's totally bought in. When his number's called, he says that's his opportunity to go out. But to me, if I'm on staff, like, how are you not figuring out a way? I mean, you just played in, and maybe this is it, right? Maybe they understand now after you go 1 of 12 at Bama, hey, we got to give Johnathan an opportunity to come in early. If it, like, first half, right? He made all 3 of those in, I think, like a 6-minute stretch.
Yeah.
Even if it's first half, and just say, hey, maybe if we can find him out there, he can knock down a couple threes, that could be the difference in the game. And it could have been against Bama, right? If he had found his way in there, was able to make a 3 or 2, like, at the end of the day, that could have been the difference. But it's weird to me that he hasn't gotten more playing time, like we said, given that is the one glaring weakness of this team.
The most obvious weakness. Yeah, you have a good point, though. And I'm curious if it's almost a situation similar to a Leicester, for example. Like, Leicester was a very good 3-point shooter, but it wasn't in high volume, right? I think Leicester shot 3 or 4 a game. Can Johnathan at least be that? Can he give us 3 or 4 attempts per game? Like, I think that's not a hard ask by any means. And, it's not go out there and just screen or whatever you need to do to get Johnathan 7-8 attempts from 3 a game, unless he's going to start hitting them at a wild clip. But I think just trying to get him those shots, get him those looks that have been set up for other guys, or even just find a way to give him a chance to kind of get a set number of shots up.
Yeah, and he's not, I mean, we're watching him. He's not the dude that's going to come down and, like you said, just going to be throwing a 3 up in somebody's face necessarily. Like, he's finding his spot on the floor. Defense is rotating. Kendrick penetrates, somebody else penetrates, kicks it out. The ball's whipped around the top of the key. He's found open. Like, it's at that point in time. And to your point, like, even if he's taking just 2 or 3 a game, he makes 1 or 2. That's all you really need, right? Like, we've talked about it. If you can go
if you make 5, 6, or 7 a night, I think you're in every ball game. We've mentioned that before, right? And that's what they did against A&M the other night. We were what was it? 5 of 14 from 3. That's perfect. Right. It won you the game. I think that's perfect. You were 36% from 3 and 63% from the field. That's all you got to have. We're not asking the Ticks to come out and be Bama where you're going 10 of 30.
Yeah, you have 30 attempts.
Just give me 5 of 14 on a nightly, 6 of 15 on a nightly basis.
Maybe take a couple of those attempts away from Damaria. I don't know. Whatever. I'm not trying to write the plays up.
That's weird. He doesn't have a bad looking shot, and he drilled that mid range, Jay.
That's fine. I'll take that.
And he hit 1-3 the other night, but like, didn't he? Yeah, 1 of 5.
Yeah. You see what I'm saying though? Like
maybe we just need to cut his clip down a little bit. Get that down to 2 or 3, and make 1 or 2. That's all we're saying.
No one on this team should be taking 5 threes a game, and I understand if they're sagging off and kind of giving you that open look. Step up.
You wouldn't give Kendrick 5 threes a game? Not at his current percentage.
I don't know. Kendrick's
different. He might.
I don't think you set caps on him at all.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He might be right around 5-ish a game.
That's probably right. Yeah.
He's attempted 60 on the year. What are we? 11 games in.
Yeah, he's over.
He's just over 5 a game. Kendrick keeps shooting. It'll come. You'll knock him down.
I'm not. Dude can do whatever he wants. I'm not going to tell him no.
Yeah. But again, nonetheless, it was a good, seemingly a good win. Hopefully A&M can, like we said, similar to Auburn or even Ole Miss, who lost to North Alabama today, which is not helpful in the least. To go back to your point about our opponents not giving us any sort of help whatsoever. But hopefully A&M can. I mean, they seem affordable enough that they could win a couple games at home against teams that they're probably not favored to win against, and that probably all evens out at the end of the year. It's still a little bit early. It's hard to not look at the net for me. I mean, it's a daily thing, especially because they update it daily. So I'm constantly like, where are we at? But I think as you get later into January, it'll start evening itself out. Everybody's getting into conference play, and you have a better understanding of where you're truly at. I mean, the biggest thing for me is just seeding. Like, I think we're a tournament team. It's just you want to be higher in the net, get a better seed, and hopefully win a couple of these. I think you got, 3, potentially 4 quad 1 opportunities left. So if you could get 2 of those, I think you're in a good spot. Right now, I think Lenardi has this projected as a 6 seed, which sign me the heck up right now. Palm, I think, has us at.
I thought Jerry Palm had us like an 8 or a 9.
He has a 9. He has us at a 9. Playing Purdue,
thank you.
Second round. And I would give me a 10 over the 8-9 every day. But I will, Lenardi, sign me up for a 6 right now. Speaking of which, we were looking at this, and you and I were talking about this right before we started. You're about to enter a stretch of all of January and most 3 weeks of February where you are favored in every single. It's 14 games. We will not, most likely, unless we drop a couple we shouldn't, you will not be an underdog until at Houston on February the 19th. I mean, that is almost 2 months from today. That's 14 ball games. Do you think that the Tigers can go 14-0 over the next 2 months?
So I look at that. Anytime someone tells me I'm favored in 14 games, I don't feel comfortable with that, because when you look at this, like on
paper,
a
long stretch of basketball.
Yeah, the games don't seem that hard. Like South Florida's kind of awful. Tulane's decent.
I mean, you say that Tyler's going to come in here on the 29th and light us up.
There was a period in time where Tyler was like 5 of 50, no joke. I don't even like the first couple of games.
Oh yeah,
he's good for him.
Started out rough. I don't think he made a 3 their first 3 games or something of the year.
No, it was something real bad.
But
then he went like 5 of 8, just doing Tyler things. First 48.
Yeah.
Anyway, if you look at the schedule, it's really not that hard, and that's obviously why you're favored. But then you have some Tulanes, you have some UCF, kind of sprinkled in there, and they're just tough enough that I don't go in with full confidence. And obviously, like, I don't go in fully confident. You don't know who's going to be healthy. Already, we're kind of dealing with Alo banged up. You're dealing with Malcolm banged up.
Yeah, that's the other thing.
How many times does Kendrick go down holding his ankle? Like,
stop. Hey, he didn't do it the other night. That's good.
That is true. But you just never know, right? 14 sounds incredible. And you're like, you look at it. Yeah, they should win 14 straight. But you just never know with these injuries and things like that.
Yeah. No, yeah. Metric wise, I think you should. We should look up Sunday, February 19th, heading to Houston and be 14-0 over the last, 15-0 if you count A&M. 15-0 since you lost to Bama. The toughest, you mentioned it, would be, I think, at UCF. We've already talked about it. Potential right now, at least, a quad one. They're 57 in KenPom and 68, I think, in the net right now. So today, that would be a quad one win. And obviously, probably your toughest game during that stretch. So let's call it 14-1 at the worst. Just slip up at UCF. Going into that Houston game, I feel like I'd be in a pretty good spot, being 23 and 4 at the worst. If you drop one to UCF or Cincy could maybe be one of the tougher of the two, and that it's UCF and I would say at Cincy, just because they're both away games. But I'd feel pretty good, and you'd have quite a bit of momentum heading into that Houston game down at Houston.
What about SMU? That's a tough test.
I knew that they were bad, but Timothy, they are they are the worst team currently in the American at 3-7 and 287 in the net.
Who's ranked higher?
They
Alabama
are
State or SMU?
Bad in the net.
Yeah.
I don't know. I gotta find where Alabama State is. I'm gonna say SMU's got to be ranked higher than Alabama State. That's
SMU
no knock.
is 184 in KenPom, if that helps.
Oh, KenPom wise, it's easily SMU. Alabama State's 352. They are by far KenPom metrics the worst team.
Yeah.
By 27 slots that we've played this year, which we've talked about this before.
Yeah.
That's the kind of team that you've got to come out and
just
absolutely, because we're looking at it. That's the kind of game where even winning it, like, basically, it still hurts you. It does you no good. Right. And I get it. We're playing, Tony's there. So, they're 343 in the net. They are 1-10. We're projected to win by 30. And I would be surprised if we win by 30, but you got to win by 30. Ideally you win by 35 or 40, but I think it's been announced. I don't think Alo's playing. He's resting what we thought was a calf, but I think he came out and said it was
his groin.
Yeah, his groin was hurting, which I think Coach Hardaway talked about it. It sounds like it's him maybe kind of overcompensating for some of his ankle soreness and tenderness. He's kind of utilizing which in the kinetic, I'm no scientist or doctor, but your kinetic chain of events and muscles, that makes sense, I guess. Didn't you do a little PT study or something back in the day?
I did, yep.
Yeah. Give us your professional almost opinion on that.
Yeah, that's probably exactly what's going on.
Yeah, that's what I thought. The groin connects all the way down to the ankle. It makes sense.
Kind of.
Not literally connected, but it's all in line. You know what I mean? Unless it's like his left ankle and his right groin, then that wouldn't make a lot of sense.
That would actually make sense.
To that, you'll have Malco out anyway, Alo out. Will Keontae be back? I don't know. They said, I was told severe concussion, which is very concerning to me. That sounds like, granted, you're not getting smacked in the head all the time. It's not like football, right? Where you're getting smacked around all the time, but severe concussion to me doesn't sound good. So
you think, did Keontae walk into a
Jaden
door?
Back? I've asked Kenny that the other day on our post game. If you follow us on Twitter, we've started doing Twitter spaces after games. So check us out at Twitter at @BluffCity_NIL.
Ask Kenny that anymore.
No underscore anymore. I asked Kenny
Get
that.
rid of it.
It wouldn't surprise me.
I
know what you're
just
referencing, and there wasn't a real door involved in that. There could have been a real door involved in this one
There
because
may
I
have been
don't
a
think
door,
there's
I don't know.
anybody. I don't think there's team-made issues on this team.
I'm just saying.
It's
You
weird.
watched that game. I watched that game. I didn't see anything
I
that
have
looked
been
like it should be a concussion.
I've been told the staff watched that game, and they cannot see any instance when his head was hit and he got hurt. So I have no idea.
Whatever. I'm not
But
trying to get anyone in trouble.
Hopefully he's fine. Hey, Will, if you guys have listened, Will has told us he's been in the locker room a couple times. No issues. Everybody loves everybody. ELE. I don't think anything like that went down. Something happened. You don't think it's disciplinary, do you? A concussion?
I can't call it one way or the other. I can say that I watched that game. I didn't see anything that looked like it
we'll
would
leave
cause
it at
concussion.
that. We're not speculating.
I mean,
something happened. We don't know. Hopefully he's back. Anyway, we had to come out, stomp Alabama State on. I know it's TJ, Tony coming back, but you got to obliterate them.
Yeah, that's actually an interesting game too because it's just basically a giant Memphis game, right? You got TJ Madlock, you got
except for the East boys
Tony
aren't going to be
Madlock.
playing.
Well, I know, but
cool
you
to
still
see them all
Dwayne
matched
Posey, Amar Knox, like they're a couple of Memphis guys on that roster.
I forgot
Alex Anderson.
I forgot Amar Knox was ended up there. Is he about to light us up?
Absolutely not. Well, I don't know. Probably not though. I'm gonna say no. I feel pretty confident saying no. They do have a guy.
If there's that doesn't look like there's a line on the game tomorrow yet.
They do have a guy, just to let you know, Isaiah Range, who absolutely crushes threes.
Does he have? And I was about to say, does he have range? Sounds like he does. Isaiah Range.
He is 23 of 50 on the year from three. So I'd say that is.
My guy's shooting 60%. Him and J Law.
Yeah. Well, I think it's 46 is the math, but
whatever. I'm not doing great math.
They do have a guy shooting 60%, but I don't think that's any worry.
I don't see a line open for tomorrow, but I'm gonna assume it's gonna be like 28.5, 29.
I imagine it'll be a lot.
And if you're a betting man or woman and you're listening, I would take the under. Mm-hmm. Not the under. I would take us not to cover.
Yeah, not covering. I know what you meant. Probably also the under, just because it doesn't look like Alabama State's going to score much. And he's going to be nice to his friend, but
yeah, call the dogs off.
I mean, hell, they lost to UAB 111-70. If that gives you any indication of what kind of team this is, how do you even score 70 on UAB? It don't matter. Whatever.
They are very. I mean, they shouldn't score more than 50 points on us.
It's probably fair.
That was their highest offensive evening. Like it was against UAB, 70 points.
That's why I was surprised why you scored 70. Like, where did that come from? Because you haven't scratched it since.
They've played a tough little schedule with UAB, USC, Pitt, Georgia Tech, Arkansas State. They're on a little Jones Boogie Memphis trip here. Arkansas State, and then here.
Madlock's just down there trying to collect cash, visiting everywhere he can.
All right. Anything else basketball-wise you can think of, Tej? Before we get into
no
Bowl Mania, First Responders Bowl down in Dallas next Tuesday, the 27th. Tigers and Utah State, 2:15 kick, I think, on ESPN. Mm-hmm. We opened at a 10.5 point favorite. Last I saw, it is 7.5 over under 61.5. We talked about a little bit about this, I think, 2 weeks ago. But how important is it winning this game?
I'd say relatively important. I mean, there's the bowl streak going on. Granted, it's not really about bowl wins necessarily. but just really kind of packaging signing day, packaging the transfer portal, packaging this bowl game, and really just trying to turn everything around after that 6-6 year, because a lot of people had a bad taste in the mouth after the second consecutive 6-6 years. So really, you're trying to do anything you can to say, hey, we kind of messed up, and we're going to flip it and fix it right here, right now, starting now, and kind of package all this together and flip it into this new season. So I'd say pretty important.
Yeah, to your point, I mean, you got quite a bit of, since the regular season ended, you've kind of ramped up with Seth announcing, guys announcing they're saying fifth, or seniors announcing they're coming back for their 5th year. You've hit the portal hard. You've gotten some, later commitments from some pretty impressive guys. Like, you got momentum moving in the right direction. And so winning this only continues to propel that momentum going into the winter and then spring camp, right? So, like, I mean, we talked about it 2 weeks ago, like I said, but you can't drop this game. You can't.
Agreed.
I mean, especially as opening is more than a 2-score favorite. Like, and we've looked at it. We've watched a little bit of tape. Utah State played better the second half of the year. I think they won 5 straight to get bowl eligible before they lost their. I think they lose their regular season finale to Boise State. And I mean, to be honest, that was a 5-point game with like 3 minutes left. They were only down 28-23. I think Boise ended up winning by 20, but it's because they got several late touchdowns. So definitely turned it around in the second part of the year. But I think a team that you've got quite a bit more talent than. And, they've had some injuries. I think it wasn't Logan Bonner their quarterback to start the year.
Yeah,
He's
some
out,
Tiger fans should be familiar with.
Yeah, and Blake Anderson, the coach. I mean, we're familiar with Blake as well. So, but I just, again, it's a team that they're not great. They only scored, I think they averaged 23 points a game. They're giving up over 30 a game. Like, I think it's just, to me, this is a game you got to win by 2 scores. Just like you said, continue the momentum going into the winter workouts and then just into the spring. You want to finish, just like you said, finishing 6 and 7 and losing to a team that is very, very subpar. I mean, would be just all over everything.
Yeah, fully agree. And it's one of those things where Memphis not only scores more points, they put up more yards, they stop better teams from putting up more points and more yards. The two things don't mesh. Like, so in all reality, Memphis should win this game pretty handily. Now, Vegas seems to think something's up if it's only a 7.5-point spread. So do with that what you will. I would probably take the over just because it's kind of what Memphis does for the most part. Did you say the over at all?
Yeah, it's 61.5, which I don't know that I love, given. I mean, maybe I don't know.
I think Tigers just gas it. I don't think this is anything for them to be conservative. This isn't something. Ryan's kind of played the nice guy for a long time. What was it? Win with what was the statement?
Win with class.
Win with class. I think he says class at this point. I think he knows that he has something to prove, and that they've got to make a statement.
Hey, it's winter break. Kids are out of class. Leave the class at home. Just win with all gas. Just gas it up.
I think that they are going to want to score a lot of points and score everything.
I hope so.
That they can.
I would love nothing more than to see us put up a 50 burg in a bowl game 2 days after Christmas. That would be quite the Christmas gift for me.
Exactly. Amen, dude. Freaking imagine. Be it a recruit that has not yet signed their letter of intent. Those guys that pretty much everyone signs now, right? On the 21st, I think it is, on the early signing period. So anyone who's left over to sign in the normal national signing day, and I think like the first week of February, the first couple of days.
Yeah, February.
I think this is a sign to them. I think they go out, try to score as many points as possible, saying like, hey, get on train now, because there may not be a spot for you come around later. So that's the way I would look at it. So I would try to make a big statement here.
Swag. All right. What you're talking about throwing up points. I mean, offensively, what do you see the Tigers doing? I mean, we talked about it. Utah State giving up over 30 points a game. Defensively, I think they give up close to 400 yards from scrimmage. So, I mean, that's not horrible by any means, but yeah, they get 400 yards, 200 passing, 200 basically they are a balanced as heck defense. 198.4 on the through the air, 198.2 on the ground. Let's feed Asa and Sutton.
That's what I expected. A big game from Asa, honestly. I think since we've seen him kind of come more into the light, it's been Asa running the ball. It's been Asa catching the ball. You and I have talked about it. He is as close to Tony Pollard as we have had in a long while. The guy can really do it all. The chance, he just got to get the ball. You got to put the ball in his hand. Guys have to block, kind of make the holes happen. But
yeah,
Asa does his part. You and I are both big on Asa.
I've said it. I said it the other day when he said he was coming back. So shout out Asa if you're listening. Glad you're coming back for your 5th year. I mean, he's to me, and we haven't seen a ton of Sutton yet. But Asa is he's bigger than Sutton. But Asa to me is our most balanced, well-rounded back that we've had. We just haven't given him enough touches, honestly, probably. So yeah, I would love to see them as a 1-2 duo out of the backfield. Let's put up 200 yards rushing. We went all season long, dating back to last year against Navy. We have not had a 100-yard rusher. Sutton or Asa, if you guys are listening, we know that you are. Give me 100. But let's get 100 out of both of you. Split it right down the middle. They give up 200, you both get 100. Forget about the non-100-yard rusher for 20 games or whatever it is. Oh, that's disgusting to say.
That is 198, by the way. That is the 118th rushing defense. So
not
give
great.
Or take. Yeah, give or take 15 teams worse than
not
them
great. Who?
Run. Not great, Bob, at all. Definitely
shout
not
out
great.
to Bob. All right, what do the Tigs have to do defensively to keep Utah State down there at that under 25 points a game margin?
Yeah, I think the big thing is watching Cooper Legas. I don't know how you want to pronounce that dork's name. I'm gonna say Legas because it at least sounds cool. Surprisingly, the Tigers defense is actually pretty good this year. And I know you probably wouldn't believe that if you watch some of the games and kind of giving up some late yardage, but 62nd in the nation in total defense, which is probably the best defensive mark they've had in a while.
And probably dating back to Barry.
It would be Barry Odom years. Yeah, I think so. And that actually may be better than when Barry was here. Maybe. I don't know. Barry had him in
I'm pretty sure we had a
40.
top 50. Yeah, I think we were definitely top 50 one of those years.
Yeah, I'm looking at it now. So 2014 is the one I'm curious about.
I think that
they were 28th in 2014.
Okay. That was
so that would be the best defense since 2014.
Yeah, that's the one I was going to say. That was the Boca Raton against BYU Bowl or the Miami Beach Bowl. That's the year I was going to say.
It's pretty good. I think
he in those highlights against Boise, he was he threw for 306, but they ran some design QB runs, which I still have PTSD against any quarterback that can run. I mean, he's not a great rusher by any means. It doesn't look like, but worries me a little bit. 6'1", 215, and he seems capable of running if he needs to.
So when you say that, it makes me think of when we played East Carolina and we kept Ehlers in check as a running quarterback. Pretty much any rushing quarterback we've played, even if you take Navy in account, we pretty much shut him down. The only time that I think we've got
except
by a running quarterback is
freaking Clayton,
UNA or
Clayton Tune. Freaking 4th
Clayton
and 13.
Had
it doesn't matter.
One run.
It was the biggest run of the season. Our season turned on
That's
that
probably
run.
Fair.
4th and 13.
My
You have
general
freaking
point.
dudes diving at ankles and doing jumping jacks in the middle of the field.
My general point is I think that Barnes does a really good job of scheming. I think that he's actually a pretty good defensive coordinator. So when we sit down and we target on one specific player or one specific thing, they do a really good job. And if you think about it against Tulane, it wasn't just Tajay Spears, right? I think it was really the backup. And then with East Carolina, it was the backup running back there. And they were trying to stop the
that dude was
quarterback.
quick
So
though.
he was very good. Keaton Mitchell had his, but the other guy was pretty kind of cutting us up pretty good. So I'm not generally worried about this.
The Aggies do have
us at this point, just because I said that.
a pretty good running back though in Calvin Tyler Jr. He's a smaller guy, 5'8", 200, but he's a 1,000-yard rusher, 7 touchdowns on the ground. So somebody to keep an eye on there. And then receiving wise, they got a couple decent receivers. Brian Cobbs, 6'2", senior, 840 yards, 4 touchdowns, 70 receptions, leads the team. And then they've got another guy, 2 others, one that could be a matchup. They don't throw to him a ton. He gets like 3 catches a game, I think, but could be a nightmare matchup. Justin McGriff, 6'6", 215. I don't know who you're putting on that man. He's got 4 touchdowns, only 450 yards, but that sounds to me like a matchup nightmare for the Tigers defense.
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, it was very similar against State when they put Ducking or whatever his name is out there. He's just 6'4". He's just too big.
You
can't really physically.
Well, I mean, what are you doing with you got smaller DBs? I mean,
Mm-hmm.
And then their second leading, this is another smaller guy, 5'7", kind of like a little Tank Dell from Houston. 52 receptions, 600 yards, 5 touchdowns. So, I mean, they got some playmakers, some smaller guys, could be speedsters, hard to see out there on the field. But I think, like you said, I think the Tigers defense, it may not have felt like it at times, but definitely statistically one of the best defenses we've had, like you said, since 2014. Other notable, something to keep an eye on, 3rd and 4th down for the Aggies. 3rd down wise, they are horrible. 32% 3rd down efficiency for first. 4th down, however, they go for it quite a bit. They've gone for it 33 times. 55% conversion rate on 4th downs. And I'll tell you this, what worries me, special teams has cost us some big plays this year. Utah State loves fake punt and fake field goals. So keep an eye out for that Tuesday afternoon. Mm-hmm. I would be shocked if they don't run a fake punt or field goal at some point during that game and us fall for it.
Well, hopefully we're up by 30, so it won't even.
So Bankins, if you're listening, the fake is coming. They do it like almost every game, probably.
Pretty much every bowl game, yeah, or every game.
And they got nothing to lose in this game. All right, let's go to our first Tutty predictions.
I was going to say Brees Corn.
I'm going Asa.
But I think I'm going to change it up and go Asa as well.
Yeah.
And it's just because, like, he finished the year so strong.
Feed Asa.
You got to feed him.
All right, give me your offensive player of the game.
Seth Hennigan. I think Seth would kind of put it together.
We are wavelengths. I was going to say Seth, but I'll change it up just because you said it. I'm going to go Asa.
Okay.
First 100-yard rusher of the season. Give me 2 tutties. Offensive player of the game.
Okay.
All right,
I think one thing we didn't think about is who the heck is playing in this game and who isn't. Like, is Quindell playing? Guy has no reason to.
He's been practicing. He was hyping him up in a video that I saw yesterday. He's playing.
Is everybody playing? I haven't heard of anyone not playing, but that doesn't mean it's not going to happen.
Obviously, BT's not playing.
Yeah, labrum surgery.
I mean, Quindell would be the only guy that I would say would be questionable. I don't see why anybody else would sit out unless they've already decided to transfer.
Which, speaking of transfer,
I think you will have transfers after the bowl game. We were told that guys like getting their bowl swag and then they deuce out, which is so lame to me. Like, your bowl swag's not that cool. Well, they give you a freaking Seiko watch and $500 to Old Navy.
Those drawstring bags, bro.
If you're not all in, go ahead, get the heck out. You ain't sticking around for no bowl swag.
What do you think they're gonna do at strong safety with old boy in the portal?
With Hastings?
Yeah, Hastings is in the portal. Is it as simple as
we talked
Joel?
about this. Do you not think it's Joel, or do you think you think they've we talked about it. I feel like it's Joel. They like what they've seen out of him so far, and he just kind of slides into that spot. But
okay, I'm not disagreeing with you. I think Joel is the easy one to ride in there, but it could be LD Polk. It could be
Paul. We did see Polk
Cameron Smith
later in the year.
A couple of guys I could throw back there.
Yeah, I feel like it's probably Joel. Yeah. But we'll see. So definitely something to keep an eye on, right? Like, maybe there's a transfer that they're going after as well, or something that we just haven't seen yet.
Yeah.
Speaking of safeties and defense, give me your defensive player of the game.
I will go with Zay Collins. Send him out on a high note.
Easy. Yeah. I'm gonna go Quindell. Send him out on a high note. Give me one more. Two good picks right there. Either one of them I'd be happy with. Big games out of those two. All right. Give me your final score prediction.
I will say Memphis 45, Utah State 24.
I like that. See, I was going to go 24 for Utah State, but I don't know that I was up there at 45. You got a lot more faith in us putting up a big number than I do, I feel like.
Yeah. It's kind of my downfall.
What did I say the over-under is? 61.5?
61.5, yeah.
I'm going to go Tigers. Oh, see, now I'm feeling like I need to account for a field goal. 38-24.
Okay.
Tigers. Sticking
24 is a good number, huh?
I do. I like that. It's right at what they score. I feel like, yeah, I'll stick with it.
Plus, I don't know if you need to. I don't know if you need to take this into consideration, but the Tigers will be wearing their all gray uniforms. The swag factor kind of boosts the scoring.
That's got to be gray lids with blue stripes, you think? The chrome blue stripes? Or you think they go logo?
Probably the logo.
They've been practicing in the gray. I don't know if you saw that. Practicing in the gray lids with the blue stripes.
I think that's what it'll be. That's typically they're not going to redo.
Which is weird to me. Why are they practicing? Aren't they going to have to redo that? I guess there's probably not a lot of hitting going on.
Yeah, let's say you're not having contact right now.
Yeah. So yeah, we'll if you're into that kind of thing, Tigers wearing those Utah State and all blue. Be a beautiful looking game for Tiger fans, blue and gray.
Definitely.
All right. To close out football and the episode, we've had some big commitments of it. It's continuing to roll. This has been 2.5 weeks running now. Yeah. But you got a couple more the last few days, and we landed a couple transfers. So the punter from Arkansas, Bauer. Good.
Bauer,
still need a kicker though. He does not kick. He's punter only. Another transfer in the Old Dominion running back Blake Watson, who will spend his 5th year here. So 1,000-yard rusher. I think he's over 1,000 last year for sure. Yep. He was right at that mark. I don't think he quite hit 1,000 this year, but right at the mark. Smaller, shiftier guy seems like. And then a couple of JUCO commits and Chris Morris, big commit. And then Navarro College linebacker CJ Johnson, who is the Navarro College teammate Marcus Tillman Jr., who is just playing games with our heart, committing, decommitting, reback, committing. I think he's locked in, though. We'll see what today's the 20th, tomorrow's signing day. Hopefully he signs tomorrow and is locked in and is hashtag all in. But nonetheless, a couple big gets. Still, like we've talked about, it seems like defense, offensive line are still a top priority.
Definitely.
I'll ask you this, though. Blake Watson wasn't the only running back. We've also gotten McNeely committed as a running back too. How many running backs do we need, DJ? Is this a sign? Is this a sign of things to come? Are we about to get a mass exodus out of the running back room?
I don't think so. I think what this is Memphis saying, "Hey, we're going to bring in guys, and you better be ready to compete. Don't come here unless you want to compete." And for guys like Blake Watson, I'm pretty sure he's at the end of his road here, so it's an interesting move for him.
Yeah.
I don't follow ODU any, so I'm not sure exactly what's going on or why he had a reason to leave there. It seems like he was getting a bevy of touches. But I think that's really what it is. It could mean a sign of, hey, after the bowl game, we're expecting some running backs to leave and go elsewhere, to look elsewhere for more carries. You got to think Asa's coming back. Ducker should be back. Brandon Thomas
back.
Brandon Thomas coming off that shoulder surgery, so not really sure when he's going to be back. Sutton should be back. Kofi should be back. I mean, we're already at 6 guys now, so
a lot of guys.
Only one ball to go around. So it's not that I think they're trying to push anyone out.
Only
but I
one
think
ball.
I think they are definitely letting them know that it's a competition, and we're going to take the guys who can work.
You know what that just made me think of?
Lance Armstrong.
No. Well, that is not at all. I was not thinking about testicular cancer. I was thinking about Tommy West and the team that had Duke Calhoun and Carlos Singleton on the team together, and he never would play the both of them at the same time. And his response was because there was only one football.
Only one ball. I mean, how tall was Carlos Singleton? Like 6'8". Duke was 6'4". Like,
yeah. I mean,
Carlos, you play those dudes.
Carlos might as well have been 7'5".
Yeah.
7'5", 115. The dude was a beanstalk, but he was, I mean, who's guarding him? Now you got me looking up how tall he was.
We played him in high school. He was from Brownsville, the Tomcats. I'm pretty sure he was like 6'7", 6'8".
Yeah, 6'7", 225. Carlos.
Yeah.
What
He's
a
big
baller.
guy.
What a baller. You just throw it up to him. Let him go get it.
What are we talking about?
All right. Any other recruiting transfer news you can think of?
Jamari Chisholm, you forgot about him, the tight end. He's also from Hutchinson. I think we may have talked about the guard, RJ Adams from Georgia Tech.
Yep.
And then
we touched on
Chandler Martin.
Chandler Martin and Derek Hunter, I think last episode. So
yeah.
Only other thing, Harvey Broussard came out and said he wasn't signing until the later period in February. Is that concerning? I mean, I think it's got to be, right? Yeah. Like, you want your dude signing tomorrow or today, if you're listening on Wednesday today.
Just any time there's more time between him joining your roster or someone else's, it just makes you uncomfortable, right? Because that just means he has a month and a half for LSU, for La Tech, for anyone from his home state to come in and say, hey.
And he has good offers. I mean, he's got
great offers.
He's got Power 5, Arizona, Arkansas, Baylor. So yeah, definitely concerning, definitely something to watch. Hopefully we can hang on and he does end up signing in February, but something we'll have to keep an eye on as we move into the spring. All right, Tej, on to the brew.
It's okay. Again, I am a hazy IPA guy.
It's not my favorite hazy that I've ever had, for sure.
No. And I've learned this. One thing is very consistent. When I try beer and I don't like it, there's always one culprit, and it's malt. If I drink the beer, my mouth is covered in malt, I freaking hate it. It drives me nuts. I don't know why.
I mean, it's not a comfortable feeling by any means.
It's not. It's like I'm drinking liquid velvet.
Hey, shout out to this can, though. You looked at this can?
Yeah, it's pretty dope.
This may touch home with somebody out there. I don't know, but I went to Dr. Chrysler as my pediatrician. Shout out Dr. Chrysler. He had this room. One of the rooms at his office was like a safari-esque, and this can is really reminding me of it. Just all the animals. Look at that, how it goes from like cheetah into birds. That's a cool touch.
Yeah.
You got an elephant on there, a tiger, giraffe, cat. You got two. Is this two like gorillas cheersing each other at the top? They both have a brew.
Yes, that's 100% what's going on.
I'm digging this can. It's a good can.
There's definitely a lot going on.
TJ right there in the middle with the snake wrapped around him.
The snake around me.
That was triathlon.
Looks like
TJ
me, for sure.
That looked like you when you did triathlons.
Something like that.
This might be one of the higher rated cans I've had.
Definitely
a lot of artwork went into this.
Yeah, it's definitely a cool can. Unfortunately, it's a cooler can than it is a good beer.
Yeah, this might be one. I think the can's higher rated than the beer for sure. Can, I'm gonna go like a 7.7. It's a good can.
That's fair.
It's not the best can in the world, but that's a good can. Relative to most of the cans we've been seeing. Good can.
It's a good usage of all the colors. I'm gonna say 7.1. I think it's a good can. It's definitely a good can. 7.1.
All right. So 7s. That's a great can score for us.
It's a good can, man.
Beer wise, I don't love it. I mean,
no. Not great, Bob. And again,
it's just okay. I'm not like dying to go get another Animal Frequency, but like if you had a cooler of these at the house, I mean, I would grab one. If I just blindly reached in and I pulled this out, I'd still drink it. But I'm not like
drink it.
Seeking out a 6-pack of Animal Frequency.
Absolutely not.
I don't even know that I probably couldn't drink 2 of these back to back.
Yeah, and that's kind of where I draw my score as well. It's like if I could drink 2 of them, it's gonna.
I mean, I would drink it again, but I'm not going downstairs to get another Animal Frequency right now.
No.
So for me, like a 6.2.
That's kind of on par with where I'm at. I was probably gonna say it's 6.3.
It's fine, but it's not like.
It's not super bitter. If that makes anyone feel good. But
yeah, you got your whole malty things now. It's there. I feel it.
Yeah.
All right, Tej. Last episode before Christmas, so everybody, or holidays, anybody, happy holidays. Follow us at Bluff City NIL on Twitter. You can follow Tigers Untapped on Instagram, wherever you listen to us. Spotify, Apple, whatever. Give us a rating, review. Tell us if we're awesome or we suck. We like constructive criticism too. So
yeah, go for it.
Wherever you find us, give us a like, give us a follow. We appreciate it. For TJ, this is Trey. Come with the cold beer, stay for the hot takes. Peace.
If you enjoyed this episode of Tigers Untapped, please leave a like and a comment wherever you download your podcasts. Head over to bluffcitynil.com for comprehensive coverage of Memphis Tiger athletics. We will see you back here next week.